Welcome to Real Estate Unleashed. I am your co-host Regan Hildebrand at the Home Team Realty Group. Find me on social media at Realtor Regan.
And I am the other co-host, Bridget Quinn. You can find me on social media at B Quinn Realtor.
Oh, Bridget. Post-Thanksgiving.
I think everybody's in the coma phase on this Monday.
Tryptophan coma.
If I saw one post, because we record on Mondays, by the way, but if I saw one post on Facebook and social media that said, I don't want to work today, I saw a gazillion.
Good God.
It's a Monday of Mondays, is it not?
Try dragging children to school the Monday after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. But here we are.
Here we are,
heading into the holiday season.
Well, at least one of us is a little festive looking today.
I've got to dig through the old Christmas sweaters. Dig them out. They might be under lights.
For the next couple of weeks, we're going to try to do a few holiday Christmas specials. So
we're going to
you'll
keep in
get
the
to
spirit.
see my Star Wars collection for Christmas. Surprise, surprise.
I have to find non-offensive Yuletide shirts.
We were looking at them before we recorded.
Tasked with that. But you know what gift is a good early Christmas gift?
What's that? Besides a referral?
Besides a referral.
Okay.
Referral's the best early gift. The best early gift that you can give us is a subscribe click. If you're watching on YouTube, please go down below, somewhere in this area probably.
Again, we'll try to add something.
We'll have an animation, but in the actual video, somewhere in there.
Somewhere there.
Click that subscribe button for us. That's the gift that keeps on giving, Clark.
Yes, it is.
Giving all year round. Not a Jelly of the Month Club membership, but a subscribe link. Yeah, so it's the holiday season. We are going to have festive fun with
Festivus for the rest of us, I believe we said before. So
no matter what you celebrate,
Nope.
Hanukkah, Festivus, Christmas, Kwanzaa, we're here for you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
All the best memes are Christmas memes. That's what I say. Speaking of memes.
Memes, yes. Yes.
We hope you're following not only on YouTube, but follow us on Instagram and the TikToks, as the kids call it. Yeah.
On the Tic Tac, as some of my friends' mother like to call it.
Oh God. Yeah. So Instagram, we've had a little fun with the Shrek world.
We have made a lot of Shrek memes. If you haven't already seen,
beat that to the
they're
ground.
posted on all of our social media stuff. But Instagram peeps really, really like the Shrek memes.
I love some Shrek.
I mean, we said Shrek is life. Shrek is life for a lot of people.
Have to break out the Shrek holiday specials. Yeah. Yeah.
That could be fun.
Yeah, we're going to try to keep it themed throughout the holidays for you.
Yes.
And speaking of, today we chose to go a little Grinchy. A little Grinchy with things.
Are you a mean one?
A mean one, Mr. and Mrs. Grinch. Yep. So we were discussing, like, you know, what's relevant, what's trendy, and try to stay topical, right? But talking about the Grinches of real estate, there's a few. There's a few.
Oh, you encounter them all year round.
All year round. Yeah, they don't really... It's not really seasonal for the Grinches.
No, it's not.
Of real estate.
No.
But yeah, we talked a little bit before we started recording today about, like, you know, what steals Christmas spirit in real estate, and you know, it's different things, right?
Mm-hmm. I would say so.
Can take the spirit out of buyers and sellers.
Some people need to have the Scrooge experience, go through and realize
Christmas
their
past, present, and future.
Mm-hmm. Don't say bah humbug, yeah.
Yeah. And then there's other people who are the little tiny Tims of the world. Just need a little help. A little Christmas spirit.
One and all.
God bless us, one and all. But yeah, you know, that's...
Now I want to sing Whoville.
I'll let you go as long as you want. We got all the time in the world. Keep singing it.
It's not Christmas until you watch The Grinch.
We can do a whole episode of singing Christmas carols.
We could.
We could.
But again,
we could, but we shouldn't.
No, we'll not. We'll not for now.
See, that will not help the follower count.
No, we'll be like, no, unfollow.
Yeah. But yeah, in the Grinchiness of things.
Yes.
The big thing that I think has hit a lot of people in the last, I mean, it's not even last year, it's really the last couple years, has been investors are
I would say
Grinches.
not all investors are created equal. There are some really good ones out there that, have done the right thing. And
Yeah, and
but
it's a
then there's,
two-sided coin.
yeah, there's some that have taken advantage of the situation, I believe.
Right. And, I think rumors and everything swirl around and about like, who's driving all of the the investment buying of real estate. And, the Blackwater gets thrown. I think that's the one, the hedge fund that everyone talks about that's secretly buying up all these properties and
Secret.
covertly accumulating all these homes. And there's there's truth to everything. And I think there is definitely a big surge and a big newfound, what we call it, life to it, where these big companies, hedge funds, and investors are trying to definitely carve a niche out to make real estate a part of their portfolio, if you
Sure.
will, in a more aggressive way.
As you say, I think that's keywords. People don't fully understand, so they hear those keywords, as you say, like portfolio and
Yeah.
all
Hedge
of that
funds
stuff. And I can do it too.
Right. And so, yeah, it affects buyers and sellers differently. On the buy side, if you're a buyer out there and you're up against investors coming in with strong cash offers and
Well,
refinance.
previously you could beat them out because you had such great buying power, and at the time, we'll say pre-COVID-ish, that the investors really weren't bringing their A game to the table all the time. They were still doing the typical low ball offer. Hey, it's cash, but it's not going to
Under
be,
list. Yeah, price.
it's not going to be super strong or anything. And then once we saw the surge, it was, wow, these guys are actually putting forth way more effort than a
They
lot of
came
the
in guns
buyers.
blazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what kind of started it. And
They flew down into Whoville and started gobbling up more than just trees.
yes, I took all the ornaments,
All
all
the
the
ornaments.
presents, packages.
Even took the roast beast.
I love some roast beef. I don't even call it roast beef anymore. It's always like, I want to call it the roast beast.
Poor Cindy Lou, who had Christmas stolen by. Yeah, the investors, they did come in, to your point. They came in much more aggressive. And it made, if you're on the buyer side of things, suddenly you're competing with investors who, like you said, are not
Yes.
coming in under list, they're coming in over list.
Overlist. And, that's when we started seeing a lot of these programs to come up, or different incentives to try to, the buyers paid cash for it. It costs them some extra points or extra percentages or
Yeah.
what have you on the back end of it. But they had to come, as you say, guns a-blazing too, to try to even remotely be competitive in that same realm.
Yeah,
Which
and
most of the time, that's hard. If you're looking at an all cash offer from somebody that's way over list, and then a buyer, either with those programs, they may still be limited on what they can offer. Maybe it wasn't 30 grand over, maybe it's only 15 grand over, but
right,
those
and
guys were losing out.
they're losing. So, yeah, those programs a lot of times are called power buyer programs, and essentially, like you said, they take your traditionally financed offer, whether it be cash or conventional, FHA, VA, didn't really matter, and then they quote unquote turn it
Changed
into
it.
cash by the
Comes at a
power buyer
cost.
that's backing it says basically we guarantee to buy this. Somebody's going to buy this house.
Somebody's going to buy it. Yep.
If the borrower can't buy it, then we'll buy it. We being the iBuyer program with our cash, and then we'll just rent it back to those people.
There's
or
always
we'll
a
sell it.
cost involved. I mean,
Yeah, a percentage.
nothing is ever free.
No, you're paying a fee back to those programs, but you're making your offer more lucrative against those cash or those cash investors. And to your point, nothing's ever free or without catches. Catches were, like you said, you can't expect the power buyers to go over what might be an appraised value.
Sure, they still did their homework.
They did their homework, whereas some of these investors were paying well over what would be an appraised value. Now, and I think we're seeing the tides are starting to turn. The investors are, in most cases, buying and holding, but you had
pull
some
back, or as you say, like they may have utilized their capital and everything that they want to put into it. So they're either looking for more specific type properties. Something's going on down the road.
They're going after the Grinch. Yeah. We don't have a good enough soundproof
no, we're not quite
studio yet.
We're not quite that.
Not quite there yet.
We're not quite that lucrative. See, this is where I get sidetracked. What was I saying? Going down the road.
So yeah, the investors are coming in with those offers. They're maybe paying over what would be a market-based price. Mm-hmm. Some of them buy and hold and turn into a rental property, and that might make sense for them.
Yeah, some of them have different end goal, so to speak. So some, as you say, were going into these communities and wanted it to turn that community into a one-stop shop, rental properties or whatnot. And some are more, hey, I'm just doing it like a family business. Like if we went in and invested just a few properties and took and managed them themselves, and just kind of depended. And then a lot of communities started to make sure that they couldn't, those investors couldn't get into
some restrictions in the
extra restrictions or change the restrictions to try to
limited the amount of rental properties, limited,
or
how
terms.
How fast you could turn into a rental.
Yep.
But the ones that was most interesting to me were the big iBuyers, not to be confused with power buyers, iBuyers being investment buyers, who came in thinking that they could make a quick buck, pay over list price, and then 30 days later sell it, list it again for an even higher price. And the biggest one that most people are familiar with would probably be Zillow, that came in with their own iBuyer program. They would plaster it all over Zillow.com saying, we will buy your house. Don't even need to worry about like agents and fees and all that. Now, you could have an agent involved. You always had that right. But they would even cut out the middleman if you wanted them to. Streamline it, hand you a check. We've personally known people who've done that.
We have.
And it works out well if you're in the height of it. But then suddenly Zillow got caught with their pants down. And they exited the program almost as fast as they entered it. And the whole reason for that was, they were having to pay over what was a market value. Then the market starts to correct itself. And Zillow's left holding inventory that now they had to sell for a loss.
Yep.
So the Grinch got Grinched.
The Grinch really got Grinched, is right.
And that's why all these things that seem too good to be true usually are. Yeah, there's going to be a spell for it.
Sure.
It had its season, and now...
My head is an endless file folder of all these songs.
I got to be careful what words I throw
and
out.
I told you earlier, off cameras, like once you say keywords, like if I have a certain, just a stare, it's because I'm singing to myself.
Don't worry, I got plenty of gifts to plaster all around the video.
If you didn't already see the last episode, you'll want to watch our Check Yourself Before You Shrek Yourself, and there's a lot of
little fun with the video editing. I'm no master editor. We don't have anybody helping us with this. It's more GeoCities technology back there. But we do what we can.
Puppeteers.
Limited.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The whole part of that was, the iBuyers had their season. It's kind of sunsetting now. Zillow's exited that program. Open Door was another big iBuyer.
Yeah, there's a bunch out there and different names, same
concept.
Game.
But now Open Door has reported that they're selling their inventory. They took a huge loss this last quarter. They're selling their inventory for under what they paid in most cases. So that's where we flip the script. Now we see the people that were in the market before that got pushed out. If you're patient, now you can come in and take advantage of what's almost like a Black Friday deal with some of these iBuyers still getting rid of their inventory. Come in as a buyer. Interest rates aren't as great as they were, but if you're paying
but we talked about several times that now you've got more of that negotiating power. You can take advantage, as you say, it's Friday or Monday cyber deal sort of thing and
Cyber Monday.
get, the most bang for your buck.
Yeah. Yeah, so again, the Grinch table's turned. Mm-hmm. It's like now the Grinch is coming down the mountain with the sled out of
present.
control, bringing them back into Whoville.
Yeah, his heart grew 3 sizes that day.
I don't think everyone on the investor side, the big iBuyers, hearts grew.
No.
I think it's more a matter of an oh crap moment.
My pockets are empty. I need to make sure it's appropriate.
Yeah. And then on the seller side, it was completely different because...
Oh, it's so different. It was like, I'm going to take the best offer, and if somebody wants to give me 40 grand over, I don't care who it is.
As long as they got the money.
Yeah. But on the flip side of that, too, I also had some clients who turned down typically some of these, let's call it slightly better offer or whatnot, because they wanted it to go to a family or to a real person,
right,
rather than just some LLC, some company or
corporate entity,
something like that. There's a difference if somebody's using an LLC to purchase it still for a personal property, but as you say, these iBuyers and all this other corporate rental things, I had several sellers that did not want their home to be that. They wanted to try to provide an opportunity in a time where there wasn't a lot of opportunity for buyers.
Yeah, they were more the Santa Claus.
They were
people versus the Grinches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was fortunate too to have some folks in that same bucket. In fact, just recently had a client who had a property here in Concord that they were listing and been their home for 13, 15 years. And they wanted to make sure it went to somebody who was going to provide the same amount of love to it.
Right.
And give it the
as
same
you say, call it sentimental or what have you. But I can't blame them.
No, it's a different.
But it was definitely a hard decision for, I think, a lot of my sellers too, to, say, take the money and run, or, even that maybe that second or third offer, it had a lot of extra money on top of it. So they were still okay because they were getting more than what they even expected at the end of the day.
Yeah. And if, and if your heart's in it for that reason, maybe you lose a few $100s, but that it's going to somebody who's going to give that home the same love and care that you gave it yourself, versus just turning it over.
Well, that was a personal choice too,
Yeah. And that's a piece I think that people need to understand. Like, you have that option.
Oh, sure.
If you're listing your home to make it a personal decision. Now, obviously, there's fair housing rules. You can't decide who gets it.
Right.
But if you want to say that you're targeting investors, you can target investors.
Oh, absolutely.
If you want to say that you're targeting owner-occupiers, first-time
home buyers. And it's
our
job to explain the offer. It's not our job to tell you which offer to take.
Yeah.
Not to say, hey, you're going to make, this much on this offer, or this one's a family or what have you. We're not going to do that. We're just going to explain the terms of the contract, and the sellers decided what's best for them in that scenario, whether it's a quick close or the most money or what have you. So.
Yeah, and I think that's a big piece still for people to keep in mind, is even though the heydays of iBuyers and everything are starting to, I guess, return to normal, they're still out there. There's still options. And if you are the kind of seller that needs a sure thing, quick close, no fuss, no muss kind of deal, still available.
Sure.
And no one should feel guilty if that's what they need to do.
You got to do what's best for you at the end of the day.
Exactly. And, a lot of people, it's just part of the business. And, we try to keep the Grinches at bay. We try to...
hopefully we're not working with too many Grinchy agents on the other side.
Grinchy agents. Yeah, we've discussed it before. Sometimes you got to keep the personal feelings at a minimum.
It's hard to do, but
especially this time of year, tensions run high. I mean, some of the worst deals I had were in December.
Some of the toughest deals I've had has always been in end of the year, November, December.
And I think some of that comes down to obviously stress of the
Everybody's
holidays.
stressed. Everybody's stressed.
Yeah, and then you're at the end of the year, and some people have to do something before January
So it's
1st
that time crunch.
for business or tax reasons, whatever the case may be. And yeah, it's a crunch. And tensions run high, and unfortunately, it affects everyone. Again, I mean, I'm almost getting like just cringy thoughts thinking about a couple of December deals I had in the past that I never want to repeat.
No.
Situationally,
Sure.
yeah. The worst one was having a buyer who was moving. It was a job relocation, not only out of state, but the spouse was actually in another country at the time, and they wanted to be in this house by actually Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving came and went, and there was some loan issues that were snagging things, but there was also what we call in North Carolina a seller possession after closing agreement. And for those, the short version is basically it's an agreement that's amended or an addendum to the contract that states that the seller can stay in the home for X period of days or weeks after closing settlement.
There may or may not be money involved.
Yeah, exactly. It's all part of negotiations. But it's tricky in North Carolina. I think some states have better protections. But in North Carolina, it's basically a short lease. And yeah, once that period is up, then there is part of the agreement that says that the seller, if they don't get out by that date, has to pay a rent per day. But the eviction process is just like any other. So, long story short, seller didn't want to leave before Christmas, changed their mind, and the buyer who wanted them out so they could move into their house by Christmas time had to basically go down to the courthouse, file eviction proceedings. Which, just messy and ugly.
Yeah, that just gets...
Yeah.
That's not fun anyway, but then as you say, at the end of the year, around that time, and that's very Grinchy to do.
Yeah, and, it gets to be hurt feelings on the side of the real estate agents. Once the deal is closed, we're no longer technically the agent, right? Obviously, we advise, but then it goes into the realm of lawyers.
Yeah, no.
And, yeah, that can make everything Grinchy.
Nobody wants to deal with that.
No. So we try to avoid...
Nobody got time for that.
Some people's hearts need to grow 3 sizes.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. But, yeah, I mean, it's still a wonderful time of year.
It is.
And not to be negative about it, there's a lot of positives.
There is always positives.
It's a good market right now. So if you're thinking, this is the key thing I think to take away now that we're heading into December, is if you're thinking about catching the sled as it's going down the hill super fast, if you're thinking about jump on now for your home buying especially, or listing for that matter, because it's really like a 2-3 month window for most people. And if you're jumping in now before the end of the year, you'll get a head start on everyone else.
Yep. And we talked about that too, like time for competition, and before you know it, spring will be here, and then you're going to be competing with so many other people, and everybody else kind of doing the same thing. So,
and speaking of investors, a lot of the ones that I've talked with, they're not buying at the end of the year. So you're not competing with investors
as a
if
buyer.
You are a
You're
buyer.
not competing.
Yeah, because a lot of them have spent their capital earlier in the year. They're waiting until January 1st to start buying. So, big tip, if you're actually out there and you're thinking about shopping now and you're looking at properties that might normally be competitive with investors, get in now because you won't have as many investors.
Well, think of it. It's like going to a car sales lot, right? You get that end of the year deal, or it's the new year models are coming out, and you can still get this year's model. Again.
Lexus Season to Remember. Have you seen that Saturday Night Live skit? Where the dad buys the Lexus and doesn't tell the mom, and it all goes... Oh, God.
Oh.
I know, I'm chasing things, too. On that note.
But yes, no, as you say, there's lots of good takeaways, and that's definitely one of them, and we've mentioned that before, so, it's... Start that journey now, and
keep going.
And
if you need help, if you need recommendations, we're here for you.
Pick me.
Send us comments, DMs, emails. Reach out to us. We'll hook you up with the right person to help you guide you through the process. If you're not in our area, if you're in North Carolina or South Carolina, we are absolutely ready and to jump in there, help you with any any needs, buying and selling.
Any needs, we got you covered.
Hook you up. So remember, though, if you can't do anything else for us, click that subscribe button for us.
Yes.
Follow us if you're listening on the podcast.
Share.
Make sure that you subscribe on there as well.
Yes.
Follow us on Instagram. We got some other little seasonally
Stay
appropriate
tuned.
memes and gifts coming out your way. So we appreciate it.
For holiday time.
Yeah, we got some more good stuff coming up for this season. So stick with us. Thanks for being there.
Yeah,
As
we
always,
appreciate you.
I am Regan Hildebrand with the Home Team Realty Group. Find me on social media at Realtor Regan.
And I am Bridget Quinn, also with the Home Team Realty Group. And you can find me on social media, Be Quinn Realtor. And as always, we'll see you next time.